Hi there, second graders. Now that we've got the math taken care of, let's get right into our anchor text for lesson 24 for journeys. This week we're going to be reading a fun story. It's actually a folk tale, and if you look at the genre section of your student book as you're reading along with me, you can see that a folk tale is a kind of traditional tale. As you read, look for a simple plot that teaches a lesson. We call that a moral, usually, a moral of a story. And also look for animal characters who talk and act like people. So just based on the title, we know that this story is probably going to have something to do with a chicken, which is an animal, right? So an animal character who talks and acts like a person. This is written by Alma Flor-Ada. Alma Flor-Ada comes from a family of storytellers. She first heard the story of Half Chicken from her grandmother. It was one of her favorites as a child. She loved the folktale so much that she decided to write her own retelling of it. And the illustrator is Kim Howard. Kim Howard has illustrated more than 25 children's books. Her style is full of color and detail. When she is not illustrating, she is painting and making collages. She also teaches students all over the world about art. We can see just on this title page that the art is very detailed and very vibrant, lots of color. So let's get started with Half Chicken. Our essential question for the story is, why are some stories told over and over again? We learned about that in social studies also recently. There's these things called oral tradition where stories have been told for years and years, passed down generations to generations. So we're going to think about, why are some stories told over and over again? Maybe it has something to do with the moral of the story. All right, let's get started. Have you ever seen a weather vane? Do you know why there is a little rooster on one end spinning around to let us know which way the wind is blowing? Well, I'll tell you. It's an old story that my grandmother once told me. And before that, her grandmother told it to her. It goes like this. All right, let's look at the illustration on this page. What does this show? This is called a weather vane. Okay? A rooster weather vane. Why do you think the author and illustrator chose to show a weather vane? Well, we just learned that the story is going to explain why weather vanes look like roosters. Question on this page says, do you know why there is a little rooster on one end spinning around to let us know which way the wind is blowing? The author might have shown a weather vane so that readers could picture one in their minds. So they tell us about it, and we also want to visualize it, see it, okay? A long time ago on a Mexican ranch, a mother hen was sitting on her eggs. One by one, the baby chicks began to hatch, leaving their empty shells behind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 chicks had hatched. But the last egg still had not cracked open. The hen did not know what to do. The chicks were running here and there, and she could not chase after them because she was still sitting on the last egg. What is this mother hen worried about? She's worried that she cannot take good care of her chicks because she has to sit on that unhatched egg. What does this show about the mother hen? I think it shows that she's caring. She's a very caring mother. Finally, there was a tiny sound. The baby chick was pecking at its egg from the inside. The hen quickly helped it break open the shell, and at last, the 13th chick came out into the world. Yet this was no ordinary chick. He had only one wing, only one leg, only one eye, and only half as many feathers as the other chicks. What is surprising about this 13th chick as it hatches from the egg? This chick is very different from the other chicks. He only has one leg, one eye, and half the feathers of the other chicks. So, sounds like he's missing half of his body, half of the things that make up his body. was not long before everyone at the ranch knew that a very special chick had been born. The ducks told the turkeys told the pigeons told the swallows, and the swallows flew over the fields, spreading the news to the cows grazing peacefully with their calves, the fierce bulls, and the swift horses. Look at the beautiful illustrations, lots of color. Soon the hen was surrounded by animals who wanted to see the strange chick. One of the ducks said, "But he only has one wing." And one of the turkeys added, "Why, he's only a half chicken." From then on, everyone called him Half Chicken. And Half Chicken, finding himself at the center of all this attention, became very vain. What does vain mean? Well, vain is an adjective used to describe a person or a character who is very into him or herself, very self-obsessed and thinks very highly of themselves. They think they're really awesome. So why does Half Chicken become so vain? He becomes so vain because he is now the center of all the attention. One day he overheard the swallows, who traveled a great deal, talking about him. "Not even at the court of the viceroy in Mexico City is there anyone so unique." The Half Chicken decided that it was time for him to leave the ranch. Early one morning, he said his farewells, announcing, "Goodbye, goodbye, I'm off to Mexico City to see the court of the viceroy." And hip hop, off he went, hippity-hopping along on his only foot. One of our comprehension skills this week is cause and effect. So look at this question. Why does Half Chicken leave the ranch? So that's the effect. That's what happens. What's the cause? Why does he leave the ranch? He's off to see the viceroy in Mexico City. He wants to go see the viceroy. Half Chicken had not walked very far when he found a stream whose waters were blocked by some branches. "Good morning, Half Chicken. Would you please move the branches that are blocking my way?" asked the stream. Half Chicken moved the branches aside, but when the stream suggested that he stay a while and take a swim, he answered, "I have no time to lose. I'm off to Mexico City to see the court of the viceroy." And hip hop, off he went, hippity-hopping along on his only foot. A little while later, Half Chicken found a small fire burning between some rocks. The fire was almost out. "Good morning, Half Chicken. Please fan me a little with your wing, for I am about to go out," asked the fire. Half Chicken fanned the fire with his wing, and it blazed up again. But when the fire suggested that he stay a while and warm up, he answered, "I have no time to lose. I'm off to Mexico City to see the court of the viceroy." And hip hop, off he went, hippity-hopping along on his only foot. How do you visualize the setting? So where this is taking place on this page. And also on the page before, when Half Chicken talks to the stream. How do you visualize that? Well, the details that the author uses help me picture a little stream of water with a bunch of branches blocking the flow, the way that the stream moves. So the details that the author provided help me picture that in my mind, visualize it. How do we visualize this setting when Half Chicken is talking to the fire? If I close my eyes, I picture some rocks with a little fire burning. And the fire is very small because the details from the page told me that it was almost out when Half Chicken came. After he had walked a little farther, Half Chicken found the wind tangled in some bushes. "Good morning, Half Chicken. Would you please untangle me so that I can go on my way?" asked the wind. Half Chicken untangled the branches. But when the wind suggested that he stay and play and offered to help him fly here and there like a dry leaf, he answered, "I have no time to lose. I'm off to Mexico City to see the court of the viceroy." And hip hop, he went, hippity-hopping along on his only foot. At last, he reached Mexico City. How do you imagine the voices of the wind, the fire, and the stream might sound if they could talk? The stream might sound like flowing water. The wind might be a howling sound, the howling wind. And fire might have a crackling sound. What do all three of these characters try to do? They try to convince Half Chicken to stay with them for a while. And what does he say? He says, "I can't, I have no time. I'm off to see the Viceroy." Half Chicken crossed the enormous great plaza. He passed the stalls laden with meat, fish, vegetables, fruit, cheese, and honey. He passed the Parian, the market where all kinds of beautiful goods were sold. Finally, he reached the gate of the Viceroy's palace. "Good afternoon," said Half Chicken to the guards in fancy uniforms who stood in front of the palace. "I've come to see the Viceroy." One of the guards began to laugh. The other one said, "You'd better go in around the back and through the kitchen." So Half Chicken went hip hop around the palace and to the kitchen door. Think about why those guards might be laughing. And why did they tell Half Chicken to go around to the kitchen? Why don't you use your prediction skills? Oops. Went too far. The cook who saw him said, "What luck! This chicken is just what I need to make soup for the Viceroy." And he threw Half Chicken into a kettle of water that was sitting on the fire. When Half Chicken felt how hot the water was, he said, "Oh, fire, help me! Please don't burn me." Have the guards played a trick on Half Chicken? Yes, they laughed at him and sent him to the kitchen because they knew that the cook was in there and was going to try to make him into soup. What clues do the words and pictures of the guards and cook give you about the Viceroy? Well, he has guards and a personal chef, a cook. So we think he might be rich, right? He lives in a palace, and we know that he has a lot of people working for him. So I think he has a lot of power as well. The fire answered, "You helped me when I needed help. Now it's my turn to help you. Ask the water to jump on me and put me out." Then Half Chicken asked the water, "Oh, water, help me. Please jump on the fire and put him out so he won't burn me." And the water answered, "You helped me when I needed help. Now it's my turn to help you." And he jumped on the fire and put him out. When the cook returned, he saw that the water had spilled and the fire was out. "This chicken has been more trouble than he's worth," exclaimed the cook. "Besides, one of the ladies in waiting just told me that the Viceroy doesn't want any soup. She wants to eat nothing but salad." And he picked Half Chicken up by his only leg and flung him out the window. Why does the cook do this? Why does he throw Half Chicken out? Half Chicken is too much trouble. The water has spilled and the Viceroy doesn't want any soup. The cook has had enough. When Half Chicken was tumbling through the air, he called out, "Oh, wind, help me, please." And the wind answered, "You helped me when I needed help. Now it's my turn to help you." And the wind blew fiercely. He lifted Half Chicken higher and higher until the little rooster landed on one of the towers of the palace. Think back to the beginning of the story. What does this remind you of? This reminds us of the weather vane from the beginning of the story. Remember, this whole story was to tell us why weather vanes are shaped like roosters. How does Half Chicken become a weather vane? The wind blows him to the top of the tower. How are the roosters on weather vanes like half chicken? Well, they're like half chicken because they also have only one wing and one leg. Why do you think weather vanes look this way? Well, in order to catch the wind, they have to be flat. So it looks like they only have one wing and one leg. From there, you can see everything you want, half chicken, with no danger of ending up in the cooking pot. And from that day on, weathercocks have stood on their only leg, seeing everything that happens below and pointing whichever way their friend, the wind, blows. What causes half chicken to become a weather vane? The wind blew him to the top of the tower. All right, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this story, this traditional folk tale. This is the author's interpretation of why weather vanes are shaped like roosters. This is her story that she had heard for many, many years. Traditional tales have been told for many years and passed down, and this is her interpretation of it. All right, make sure you read this story each day aloud to a parent or a friend or your dog or cat. You can even record yourself on an iPad and listen back if you'd like. There's lots of fun ways you can practice your reading. All right, enjoy the rest of your week, my friends. Talk to you soon.